But I'm gonna talk about my thoughts on Call of Duty World War II. I'm playing Diablo just because I'm trying to work on the campaign a little bit. But I'm gonna review World War II from a blind player's perspective, and it's not gonna be simple. Oh, the gun, or the gameplay is pretty good. But I'm gonna review it from a blind person's perspective, meaning, I'm gonna talk about the accessibility of the game as the years gone on and stuff like that. So, what's that? I don't know. To put it simply, at the beginning of the game, in multiplayer, okay, I'll do it in the multiplayer accessibility as the years gone on, and then zombies. Multiplayer started off fairly good as a blind person, because the footstep volume was pretty loud, so you could hear a lot of things pretty easily, so it wasn't a huge deal. I'm going the wrong way. Oh, no, I'm not. I don't think I am. I'm on the wrong character. Whoops. But so you could sound horror very easily. You could listen for footsteps and stuff like that pretty easily. Unfortunately, several months into the game, about February and March-ish, there was a patch that nerfed all the footstep volumes. It wasn't the range; it was the range and the volume to an extent. Or both of those, it was range and volume, were both nerfed, which did suck, but it wasn't as bad as everyone made it seem to be. You could still, listen for footsteps and stuff like that easily. You just have to pay a little more attention to the ambient other sounds you might hear, like gunshots or whatever. So in terms of accessibility, as a blind player, it went down a bit, but it was easily fixable by just playing more and practicing. Wasn't that big of a deal. As the year went on a little bit more, they had more divisions come out, which in turn they gave their own benefits to a blind player. None of them really gave you awareness, like Black Ops 3 had awareness. I don't know if Infinite Warfare did, because I never played that game. But as far as like getting awareness or Sixth Sense, like as we know it in Black Ops 3, which is the most accessible, probably the most accessible version of Call of Duty for a blind person, at least in my opinion personally. But anyway, like the most annoying thing was that we never got like awareness or anything. So the best thing we have in terms of accessibility for a division being accessible for someone with disabilities, stuff like that, is definitely the Resistance Division, because Resistance Division, for those of you who may be hard of hearing or deaf, I know there's closed captioning on these videos, so I know you guys can have hopefully an understanding what I'm saying. If the closed caption doesn't butcher it. But for example, the Resistance Division has an ability where, when it's activated, it shows enemy position or enemy position within a certain range of you. So, like, say they're like right behind you, like 5 meters away or less than that, then they show up as a little. The minimap flashes red in that direction. So it's like, oh, someone behind me, things like that. So that is pretty helpful, pretty nice. As far as, hold on. As far as like, so it of course it gave you the Sixth Sense type thing, but the thing is you had that with Scrambler, which gave your position away to an extent, so that was kind of a bonus and a negative depending on point of view. Then you had ability to hear, excuse me, ability to hear enemies' footsteps easier. This is basically, it was supposed to be, I was hoping it'd be like awareness, but it wasn't like awareness at all. And unfortunately, it's not awareness. What it did do was allow you to hear mountain users' footsteps where normally you wouldn't be able to. So that was actually pretty helpful. I'll admit that did help people like me, even if it wasn't exactly what we wanted. But anyway. So the third ability for Resistance was the ping. So when you get a kill or an assist on an enemy, they let out a little radar ping, from where that person died. And so if you say maybe you couldn't see very well, but you could see the radar fairly well, right? So you could use ping as a way. Excuse me. Use ping as a way of like, okay, I can't see very far, but I can still see the radar, so I know someone's this way or that way. That also help people who can't use headsets because they can't hear, or you know, whatever reason, right? They're hard of hearing, whatever it may be. The last thing being lookout and increase the minimap coverage, so you can see more of the minimap, which may help people with visual impairment. It just makes the minimap larger, so you know that would help. As well as lookout part of it, basically making it so you can see enemies' red names from further away. So maybe you can't see their bodies very well because of the color scheme or something, but you can see their, you know, their red names. So look at what the resistance would help you see them further away, so that might help. So overall, resistance is the disability-based division. I mean, it's not made for people with disabilities, but it definitely is helpful to a lot of people with disabilities. So overall, World War II's accessibility has gone up. Sorry, has gone up quite a bit. With the resistance division and helping a lot of people with disabilities, and then all the different weapon sounds are fairly unique. You have unique sounds for.
Take me to Tristram.
Okay, back to Tristram it is.
You have different unique sounds for literally everything in the game, so
I need a ferry to Wortham.
you know, it works out pretty well. So, as far as
I am returning to town.
So as far as the gunplay and gameplay aspect, it went fairly well, at least for me personally. I know Sightless Player is a friend of mine. You guys might know him from the channel. He has trouble. COD isn't his game, of course. Mortal Kombat is, but he has, you know, a little bit of trouble trying to play World War II and stuff like that. So I did my best to help him. There's some nice settings, like one of the best things about World War II is the battle chatter system. So in game, your characters, you and your teammates, will call out. Of course, you people have mics, you guys can call out. But when it comes to like your in-game character, they actually do call outs as well, like when they're taking damage, or when they're pinned down, or when there's an enemy at a certain location, you know, stuff like that. So that is really beneficial because I can identify, okay, my teammate is on my right, that pair of footsteps on my left is probably an enemy. Stuff like that. So that's one nice thing about this. I'm so sorry. I'm tired apparently. Ooh, stuff. What am I doing over here? I guess I'm just running around breaking stuff. Okay, let's go this way. So overall, I think World War II is pretty accessible. In multiplayer, for zombies, it's less accessible than Black Ops 3, but it's still, you know, you can work. So World War II zombies, unfortunately doesn't have the same attention to detail as like Black Ops 3 does, but it does have some nice features, including the jolt system, where when you drop jolts down for you and your friends, you can pick them back up and you can hear where the walls are by the weapons.
I'm glad that fate has brought us together on this path.
Why is that?
You fight with both honor and ferocity. I know that a pure soul must burn within you.
Okay.
Hey.
Guess I'm not finding the next area correctly. So overall, like I was saying though, with zombies, oh, I'm so tired apparently. The zombies part of the game is accessible. You're able to tell where weapons are. If you play enough, you can identify where you are based on the sounds of the footsteps and counting your footsteps, which helps. And different things like that. So overall, pretty accessible. Just depends on what you want to do. Campaign? No idea. Never played it. I'm not a big campaign guy, depending on the game. So, overall, my final verdict for World War II's accessibility. Oh, I forgot to mention the menus from a blind person's perspective. The menus themselves are not that bad. It's just, it's confusing because when you simply click down or right on the D-pad, the menu will continuously cycle. It doesn't ever end. It just keeps going back, back and forth, back and forth. If you hold the D-pad on most of the menus, not every single one, but most of the menus, it'll let you like stop what you're doing, and you'll be able to like, stop the cursor, and then you'll be okay. Well, I'm doing this. So it works out pretty well like that. There's distinct sound effects for when you go into your kill streaks. You go into your weapon class. You know when you're choosing a certain gun or an attachment. Different things like that. So overall, I would say it's probably a 7. I mean, if I had a rating thing, which I really don't, maybe 6 or 7 out of 10. 7 I'm being generous. Because it doesn't have the same attention to details as Black Ops 3. Black Ops 3 has easy menus that you don't have to hold down to loop to not loop them. You just press up and down. It stops itself at the bottom or top of the list. No big deal. The audio in Black Ops 3 isn't necessarily better, but it's more attention to detail, like little birds singing or the little cups rattling on a table. You can tell, okay, that by this thing or that thing, or little stuff like that. Oh, I forgot to mention the zombies in World War II do have hit marker sound effects for all damage done. So melee, bullets, equipment, whatever damage you do. It will have a sound effect, so that's pretty nice. So, hope you guys enjoyed. Please don't forget to leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe. And sorry for not really finding anything, but I couldn't figure out where to go. Bye.